Hey guys, D4F, and today I will be taking a video of what was this called again? Space Agency, and we will be exploring the whole solar system at the moment, if not more. So I got this simple stage rocket here, and in here I have an ATV with 2 solid rocket boosters and liquid fuel engines with a tug on top. And this is gonna hopefully get us to the moon and to Mars and to Saturn and all the way back to Earth to refuel, hopefully, and then we're gonna launch now. Okay, as you can see, we have cleared the tower. Now we're going to be launching all the way up to space, and this is taking us 33 minutes so far, and as you can see, our solid rocket boosters have turned on, and we are going to start the gravity turn without any difficulties. Okay, we're going to separate that stage, and then as we kind of come and run out of fuel, we're going to separate these stages, and this is going to get us up into space, hopefully. So we're going to get up into space about now. Hey. Okay. And then see moon, that's where we need to get to. Does it need to be hard? Huh? Yes it is. So we're going to use the last few amounts in our little tug stage to get us to the moon. Hopefully. First we're going to separate the fairings and then go on. No, I missed. We're gonna have to go around for another. Sorry guys, this is taking longer than I expected. So we are on trajectory. Now we're going to adjust these few lines up to the moon. The red line has to be almost precisely connected to the green line. So we are on trajectory. So we're going to need to slow down a bit to where we can only see the orange and the green area. That's going to get us into orbit. Now we're not going to go to GRN because that gravity is too intense for our spaceships. So let's see. We're heading up. The moon's coming in. There we go. Coming in to the moon's sphere of influence. looks like we're going to make for a high lunar orbit. Then we're going to rendezvous to Mars, which I think is red. So let's see here. Let's see. Make it. Now what we're going to do. Oh, ran out of fuel. Looks like we're gonna have to do this instead. There we go. And we're going to slow down a bit. So now, as you can see, what we're doing is rendezvousing with Mars. We are 800 units away from Mars. The crew probably has a pretty stable battery supply, seeing as it's charging every single day for 24 hours. And let's see here, they probably have plenty of oxygen and food and water. So yeah, we are just going to have to wait, play a waiting game here. And then once we rendezvous with Mars, we are going to go on a quick circular orbit, then send a resupply craft up there, and resupply some of its fuel so that we can make it to Saturn. We're coming in on Mars. As you can see, the coordinate thing has turned green, which means we can ensure that our trajectory is right and we can make it into Mars's orbit. Okay, the green bar is in a stable position, so we are going to be able to make it into orbit without slingshotting all the way out. And then once we make it to Saturn, we are going to slingshot to that last little white planet that is on the very edge of the solar system, and then slingshot around that, go back to Saturn and slingshot to Moon, or to Mars, slingshot from Mars to the Moon, and then slingshot to PUR. So as you can see, we are coming up on Mars, otherwise known as red. So now we are going to make it into the orbit, which is just about now. And then what we're going to do is, you see yellow, we are going to wait to get to Saturn. That's Saturn. So we are going to click back and then build and launch a new rocket. So what we're going to do is send a little resupply craft. What I'm doing is this, and then a little resupply right here. So then CO2 is going to go in there, H2O, oxygen. So we don't need much H2O in there because they can keep producing it through their pee. Yes, it sounds a little crazy. So we're going to put rocket boosters. Oh, it's not enough. So as you could see, we don't have enough rocket boosters to make it up there. So what we're going to do is go back and build a new rocket using small parts. grab a little tug right here, I think. Yeah, grab a little tug for extra fuel, then put that, oh yeah, and then we need another connector to put this on, and then we are going for a stable trajectory up into space. So we're going to put H2O, CO2, oops, 2 CO2s, 2 oxygens. Then we're going to go up into fairings, grab this small fairing right here, put it on there, and just for additional support to save fuel, we are going to put rocket boosters on the sides to kind of get it up there pretty easily. So now that we have our rocket built, we are going to launch it into a stable Earth orbit, and then from there we are going to pause the episode here. Just pause it. We're not going to stop it just yet, so that we can do it pretty stably. So those rocket boosters are going to get us pretty much up, at least until it runs out of fuel. So this is conserving fuel this way. Then I'm going to take this, let it launch, let it warm up a little bit. Guess I shouldn't have let go of it, but you know. It'll be warming up. It'll go pretty soon. Been holding it for a very long time. I wonder when it's gonna go. Oh, deconstruct. So as you can see, that little plan has gone not very well. So I am going to build that same rocket. I am going to build that same rocket with the tug and the decoupler, and put the resupply craft on there, and then put it as H2O, CO2, CO2, oxygen, oxygen, and then put a small fairing on there, and for conserving fuel, put a rocket booster, and then we can launch. So we're going to do things a little bit differently, seeing as it didn't work this time. We're going to launch all of them at once. So as you can see, as I hold this thing down, it gives time for the rockets to warm up and start the launch. As you can see, we are about 9 minutes into our mission. So now, as we get up into orbit, we are going to go for a straight course to Mars, and then from Mars to the resupply to the ATV that we need to resupply. Okay, as you can see, we are approaching engine cutoff, and then we are going to separate these few stages and then start engine burn, stage 2 engine burn. And then as we get higher and higher out of that atmosphere, I'm going to let go and just save fuel that way. And as you can see, we are still going up due to force of the engine. As you can see, we are approaching orbit right about now. And then we are going to go for a straight shot to Loon right about now. So we are going to go there. As you can see, we have made it about a straight shot to Loon. There we go. Straight shot to Loon. And then as we make it to Loon, we are going to get into orbit. So we are just going to let the throttle down a couple of times just so we can make it into Loon. Now, keeping in mind that the red line does not have to be completely lined up to the dot in the middle, because it doesn't always completely line up, okay? Now, I am going to run out of thruster power by the time I get there. So, I am going to use a few boosts to get to Mars, and then as we orbit Mars, I'm going to dock with the ATV and then resupply. As you can see, we are approaching the moon at about 10 units per minute. And then it looks like that we are going to make it into a stable and steady orbit. There we go. Now, as we did that, we are going to use some booster fuel to sort of make it on course to is that not gonna work? Is there no fuel? Oh yeah. Okay. Make it on a stable course towards Mars. And as you can see, by conserving fuel with those boosters, I now have 2 full tanks of fuel to reload to that station. And as we make it into Martian orbit, I'm going to do some orbit maneuvering. Hopefully we don't come in right on top of the station. Our crew life support is about low at the moment, so now we can resupply the life support to the crew, and we are going to keep that resupply module docked at the moment just for extra fuel resources, just so we don't run out of fuel as we make it to Saturn and back to Earth. Now, as we are approaching to Mars, we are going to make a full orbital burn to higher orbit, and then slow down a bit. One for safety. Okay, there we go. And then as we are making it into Martian orbit, we are going to dock. I'm repeating the same thing over and over again, guys. Sorry. Just making sure you get this. By the time we get into Martian orbit, we are going to stop the episode, hopefully. Either Martian orbit, we are going to stop the episode here and pick up in a next episode. As you can see, we're about 230 units away from Mars, and this is becoming a perfect trajectory to make it into Martian orbit. "120 units from Mars. Hopefully we make it right into a higher orbit and not hit into the ATV. So I'm just going to click on the ATV, click on that. I'm going to slow it down so the ATV is going faster. Actually, it might be wise to make them go at the same speed. Okay, as you can see, we are in lower orbit, and we have reached 20 minutes of our episode, so we are going to have to stop the episode and pick up in a different episode. Bye!